Another YouTuber called into the FSDO. A Centurion busted the Las Vegas Bravo. Is COVID for real or just a political football being kicked back and forth? Well, let's talk some aviation issues that are making some headlines in this episode of Taking Off. Hi, I'm Dan Milliken, and so much is going on. And so much is not going on. Hashtag OSH2020. For the aviation world, famed YouTuber Premier One driver Greg is catching buzz because a student pilot reported a video of his to the FAA. And basically what happened is this. Greg, who is an Air Force veteran, F-16 pilot, with the YouTube channel Premier One Driver, has now been left wondering why he shares his passion for aviation on YouTube. Why is he wrestling with it? Well, Greg, landing at an uncontrolled field, had a guy lined up to wait for takeoff and another guy on downwind. So as he exited the runway, a couple of seconds before crossing the threshold, he announced he was clear. It was perfect airmanship on Greg's part. The trouble began when the student pilot watched the video and felt a comment about the early call was in order and quoted the FAA for a different type of airspace. Greg was at a Class G airport and wasn't even required to make any radio communications. Greg responded with this information, and the student pilot felt hurt or offended. So he reported Greg to the FAA, which was a joke because there wasn't an actual violation, and it just created a lot more hassle for everyone involved. The guy reporting actually had a crowdsourced site to try and fund his aviation training, his dream of flying. Seems it's been shut down recently. And the student will have a tough time in the aviation industry if he continues, as his name has been bandied about social media, and I haven't read one post in support of his action, with good reason. Greg made a really interesting point, though, in his video, to look past the comment and to see if you'd want this guy in the cockpit with you. Maybe this guy reporting is OCD, which is a good thing for a pilot. By the way, as an aviation YouTuber, I read tons of critical comments on my flying as well. It's easy to bow up, but these comments have definitely made me a better pilot. And for the obvious wrong comments, I either leave them alone or I try to reply to help them understand how they didn't take this or that into account. If they double down, I'm done. I have no wish to get into arguments in comment sections of videos. Well, this student pilot is now getting roasted, and probably deservedly. So when is it okay to snitch on a fellow pilot to the FAA? First of all, it's a really, really good policy to avoid tattletelling. But I would say that when immediate life or significant property damage is imminent, then maybe. Maybe. Have I been reported to the FAA? Yes, and it's not fun. And it was by somebody who was just trying to lash out at me because he wanted to feel important, and on the day, we didn't give him that. Have I ever reported anyone to the FAA? Absolutely not. Well, except maybe just plain silly Brian Turner. He's trying to get his punch card filled up. Just kidding. And Greg, if you're watching, I hope you keep making your aviation videos. Okay, the other big aviation buzz. The guy who busted the Las Vegas airspace. This one hits close to home because he was flying a Centurion, which, as we all know, is the best single-engine plane out there. But apparently anyone can be an owner. You don't just have to be a polite, nice guy. So let's look at the facts, supported by the ATC recordings. 731 November Romeo was on flight following VFR, destination Henderson Field on the other side of the Class Bravo McCarran Airport for Las Vegas.
I've asked for a clearance multiple times.
And November Romeo, I told you to remain outside the Bravo.
For those who don't know, you have to hear the magic words when you're VFR to enter Class Bravo airspace. Cleared into the Bravo.
20 Yankee, we're cleared into the Bravo.
Cleared in the Bravo, 20 Yankee.
Doesn't matter if I request clearance. I have to be told the magic words. 731 November Romeo flew into the Bravo without clearance. When ATC told him to get out of the Bravo, he responded that he had requested clearance multiple times. And to put it kindly, he wasn't nice about his response, and he refused to exit the Bravo.
And 1 November Romeo, I need you outside of the Bravo.
Negative.
And to cap it off, when she told him to advise when ready to copy phone number for possible pilot deviation, he told her he couldn't because he was busy flying. Apparently, the pilot has claimed on social media that he was given clearance prior to all this, but that through tricks of editing, the audio wasn't played on the video that's hitting the internet. but he didn't provide any of that audio, which is what I would have done. Also, if I had thought I'd been cleared, when confronted by ATC, I would have probably led with that, like, hey, you gave me clearance. And also, if I was told by ATC to get out of the Bravo, I would have said, I'm so sorry, and I would have exited the Bravo as quickly as I could. Which brings me to my rant today. Ego versus humility. I don't know why doctors and pilots suffer so much from the God complex, but in these two stories, a little bit of humility would have gone a long, long way. As pilots, we have to know a ton of things. There's a big, thick book of regulations that we're responsible to follow and know. It takes a Superman or Superwoman to remember everything all the time. So we pilots think we're Supermen and Superwomen. We are sincerely and passionately opinionated. Sometimes we're sincerely or passionately wrong. And in those times, you have a choice. Bow up and double down, or humbly take a step back and try to see a bigger picture. If I could wish one thing for the aviators today, it would be a little bit of humility. Okay, speaking of humility and keeping it civil, let's talk COVID-19 and the question, to mask up or not to mask up. For some reason, this issue has become a political one. It seems the maskers are on the liberal side and the no maskers are on the conservative. Apparently, to mask up is to admit there's a crippling disease, and to not mask up is to agree to kill people. Okay, I'm going to remove politics from this issue for a moment, and when I do, I find out that I'm actually on the opposite side of where I traditionally fall politically. And here's what we know about corona. That we don't know much about corona. We also know it has infected some people, unless you think it's a G5 network. And we know it has killed. We know it's a virus. We know you can breathe it out, you can breathe it in. We know the virus can be picked up from surface transference. And finally, I know that in my extended family, I've got some extremely at-risk members of the family, and I spend a lot of time with them. So you can quote whatever stat you want, that it's 1 in 1,000 chance or 1 in 10. I don't care. If wearing a mask helps prevent them from catching it and dying, I'll suffer the indignity. I don't want to be that guy who killed Grandpa. And here's one of my favorite memes hitting the internet. If we're all naked, guy pees on my leg, it gets wet. If I wear pants, leg gets a little wet. If we both wear pants, my leg doesn't get wet. Now I'm okay with that. So my own personal decision, I am going to wear a mask. And by wear it, I mean correctly, following the protocols for handling it and putting it on correctly. And I'm going to constantly sanitize my hands. So if you see me at an airport, don't be surprised if I hang back from you or put on a mask. Hey look, I respect that some of you are preaching hashtag don't wear a mask. I ask that you respect me for hashtag wear the mask. And that's all I have for this week. Take care and stay safe.